Did Randy Orton just set Alexa Bliss on fire?
The Miz is once again Mr. Money in the Bank.
Huge championship match set for next week's Raw.
Three more names even announced for the Royal Rumble pay-per-view.
Some emotional tributes on Raw and Raw Talk to Brodie Lee.
And AEW sets a Brodie Lee tribute show for this Wednesday.
Welcome to the news. My name is Phil Chambers and I am here with Andrew Pollard for the first post-Christmas news, I guess. So hope everyone had a lovely Christmas. But up first, well, on Raw last night, obviously, Alexa Bliss had a bit of a challenge for Randy Orton. She challenged him to a match at first after he trashed the Firefly Funhouse, but then it turns out that at the end of the show, she basically wanted him to set her on fire so that she could go and see the Fiend, and it turned into a big emotional thing for Alexa Bliss. She ends up pouring the petrol down and lying down on it in the middle of the ring. She's like getting in his face, calling him a coward, say he doesn't have the guts to do it. Then she eventually calls him WWE's favorite swear word, calls him a bitch. Then she pours the gasoline like all over herself, and then the lights go black. Well, Randy Orton says, like, you want me to do this? Fine. The lights go black as if the Fiend's going to appear. And then you see a camera shot looking directly at Randy Orton. He lights the matches, and just as he's about to drop the matches to the floor, the lights go out, and that's your end of Raw. That's your cliffhanger for Raw.
Wow.
Did Randy Orton just set Alexa Bliss on fire?
And it's like, tune in next week to find out. It's crazy. Is this poor woman going to have like third-degree burns, or did nothing happen? And then if nothing does happen, do we get to see what happened? Like, what happens when the cameras go off? Just Randy Orton stands there with the match and goes, I'm all right, I don't fancy it. Blows it out and walks to the back. It's... it's WWE in fire. That's clearly what they're going with at the moment, is that their new push into 2021.
Yeah, I mean, setting fire to 2020 at the end and just like, screw it. This year's been crazy. Let's end on a bang, I guess. I don't know what they're thinking, but just new crazy Randy Orton likes to set people on fire, I guess, is where they're going with these stories.
Someone has to. It's like Kane's pretty much retired now, so it's like they need their fire guy. They need the fire guy. And Randy Orton clearly is that. And while Randy Orton is the fire guy, as mentioned, The Miz is once again Mr. Money in the Bank. 2020 has been a crazy year for wrestling, and for the Money in the Bank briefcase, it's been a strange old time. Just from how it was won by Otis, with just literally catching it into his hands, and then the realization that that was really cool, but they're not really going to make Otis world champ, so he has to lose it. And then finally, we thought we got rid of the Money in the Bank briefcase for the year when The Miz unsuccessfully cashed in at the TLC pay-per-view. But no, it's back. The Money in the Bank briefcase is back, as Adam Pearce on Raw last night went, no, it's all right, Miz. I kind of agree with your grief from TLC. Here's your briefcase. Cue The Miz doing this really awkward, creepy dance down a staircase with his briefcase. And did we need this, Phil? Did we need this briefcase back in action?
Absolutely not. It just shows they had no clue what they were going to do with this briefcase from the very beginning, from giving it to Otis, just probably because it made Vince McMahon chuckle, to now. They've just been flying by the seat of the pants all the way, and they have no idea what they're doing. But you just like stumbled on the word briefcase there. And how did they not call it a beefcase when Otis had it? Complete missed opportunity.
Oh, and then with Legends Night coming out, you could have brought back Brother Brutai and have Brutus the barber beefcase. It writes itself. It
does. Anyway, sticking on with the Raw theme, next week there is a huge championship match to kick off 2021 in style. Keith Lee beat Sheamus on last night's Raw in a number one contenders match, and he will be going up against Drew McIntyre for that World Championship. God knows how they're going to get out of this with some kind of screwy finish, because it's WWE at the end of the day, and whether this leads to like a triple threat at the Royal Rumble or something like that, which, to be fair, I would be really there for. I think that would be a really fun match, those three just beating the crap out of each other. But yeah, next week, Keith Lee versus Drew McIntyre for the World Championship.
Yeah, totally agree there. I think this is the inevitable triple threat we're going to get at the Rumble. And I also agree that it's just going to be three hefty, hard-hitting dudes slap each other around. It's going to be great if and when it does happen. Exactly. It'd be great. Myself and Nicholas were talking about that on Christmas Eve, but with Walter in place of Keith Lee. And it's like, that sort of match. Yeah. Yes. three hefty dudes just having some fun. Where else were we? What else happened on Raw? The Royal Rumble. 3 more people have been added to the mix for January the 31st. The women's match has its first 2 entrants in the former women's tag team champion Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax. So they're in there. You think both of those could be favourites for it, I guess. Nia Jax are always going to do as I used to do with the kind of the monsters over the years, where how are they going to get her out? It's going to take everybody to get her out. She could be a favourite because of a power and a size. And Shayna Baszler's just, even if maybe she's not looked like it all this year, she is a genuine badass who we all know could just be so great if they let her off the leash a bit on Raw, as we've seen in NXT. But on the other side of that, on the men's Royal Rumble, Bobby Lashley, the current United States champion, has declared his intentions to go into the Royal Rumble match, to win it, and then to go and headline at WrestleMania 37, which, I mean, you're looking on the table for who could be ahead for the potential champions at WrestleMania 37. I think we can all probably agree that Roman Reigns is likely to hold on to that belt all the way through to there. Maybe Drew does the same. And you're looking at options on the table, and I mean, if Bobby Lashley's not a bad shout, I guess. You can get a couple of hoss fights there out of if he was to win it. But yeah, Bobby Lashley joins Daniel Bryan, who announced his entrance for the Royal Rumble match on Friday on SmackDown, or might even have been on Talking Smack. I'm not sure because I've not watched either because it was Christmas Day. So why would you? So yeah, we've got 2 men, 2 women, all announced for their respective their respective Royal Rumble matches come January the 31st.
Yeah, Royal Rumble matches starting to shape up, but no real surprises. You've got to just imagine these will start trickling out, and it's just, of course they're going to be in the Rumble match.
Yeah, and we've got a while till the Rumble because it's a little bit later this year than normal. It's right at the end of the month, so we've got, as we're recording this, we've got over a month. So yeah, there'll be plenty of people added to the shenanigans. It's going to be weird. It's going to be weird. Think back to like Edge and that massive pop last year. At the baseball stadium. It was so cool. I get goosebumps. I'm probably a little bit more just talking about this. But to then think now, those Rumble surprises, if there are any, it's going to be just like, it's the Thunderdome. It's going to be weird, man. It's going to be weird.
Rumble without a crowd is the biggest tragedy of wrestling in this era. It's just, the Rumble's just so bloody good. I love it. I love it so much. It's my favourite event of the year. And it's all about those pops, man. All about those pops. But we'll have to wait and see. They might be able to pull out something great for it. But moving away from WWE and Raw, onto obviously the tragic passing of Brodie Lee, or John Huber, or Luke Harper, as he was known in WWE, obviously. Now, there were a bunch of tributes on last night on Raw. Like a few people mentioned in throughout the show. It obviously started with a graphic of an in memory of thing. But the most emotional tribute definitely came from Xavier Woods. During Raw, he wore a Brodie armband and he hit the discus lariat in his match. But after that on Raw Talk, him and Kofi Kingston just had a really emotional, heartfelt tribute to him, just saying about just how much he meant to not only the wrestlers, but like all the staff in catering, all the crew members, and like every fan that had met him along the way, and just how much he had touched people's lives and how much people are going to miss him. And it was really nice to see just an outpouring of support on a WWE program for someone who had obviously moved on, and just sort of been allowing him to do that and put out those tributes just because of how much this guy obviously meant to everyone behind the scenes and just what a good guy he was. Yeah,
it's heartbreaking. Even now, a few days removed, it's just it's surreal. This is coming just from us as wrestling fans who've never met the guy. Just the stories you hear, just the stories of how much of a family man he was. But with Xavier Woods, it was heartbreaking. And then you get to see R-Truth just giving him a kind of a little hug. I think that's what everybody wanted to do there with Woods. It was, probably from the heart with that. And on to kind of jump off that as well, Tony Khan announced last night, or the earliest hours, I saw it this morning anyway, but I believe it was last night, that this week's AEW Dynamite will be a celebration of the life of John Huber, of the career of Brodie Lee, Luke Harper, whatever you know him as. So we've got, it's going to be a show full of tributes from his fellow wrestlers and his colleagues and those who knew him. And also we've got a special card which Tony Khan's put together, which I'll run through here. Now I presume it's going to be the main event, is Cody Rhodes teaming with Orange Cassidy and Preston Vance, number 10 of the Dark Order, against Team Taz. So that's Ricky Starks, Brian Cage, and Powerhouse Hobbs. Now, what if I say the cool thing, because it's not a cool thing because it's a horrible situation, but the nice thing about this is that match has been put together because of -1, which is Brodie Jr. Brodie, John Huber's real son, well, his son Brodie, his eldest son, who his favourite three of his favourite wrestlers are Cody Rhodes, Orange Cassidy, and Preston Vance. And so Tony Khan has put them together as a one-time deal to team together, presumably headlining this show against Team Taz. We've also got the Young Bucks and Colt Cabana against Private Party and Matt Hardy, Hangman Page, John Silver and Alex Reynolds of the Dark Order against Santana Ortiz and MJF of the Inner Circle, Anna Jay and Tay Conti against Britt Baker and Penelope Ford, and then Lance Archer, Evil Uno and Stu Grayson, also of course of the Dark Order, versus the Butcher, the Blade and Eddie Kingston. So that's sure to be one of those shows where it's right in the feels. It's going to be an emotional one. It's going to be a special Dynamite, obviously in circumstances which we wish hadn't happened, but it's going to be an emotional one on Wednesday. And as a result of this as well, because of course New Year's Smash was due to begin this Wednesday, Tony Khan also announced that that's been put back to start the following week, so it will now run on January the 6th and January the 13th, and likewise I believe it'll be January the 6th is when Kenny Omega defends the AEW World Championship against Rey Fenix. But yeah, this week's Dynamite it's going to be a tough one. It's going to be an emotional one.
Yeah, definitely. A really nice touch there by just putting Brodie's son's three favourite guys in a match. It's just a really nice thing to do. I mean, you only have to look at social media and the just outpouring of support and emotion about it to show how much this guy actually meant to everyone. Like me personally, I've been a fan of his for ages. I was a massive Brodie Lee fan before Luke Harper, and then onto AEW, and would only just scratch the surface of what he could do as a performer. And he still had so much more to give. And yeah, everyone here, our hearts go out to his friends and especially his family, especially at this time. It's such a tragic piece of news. But yeah, that is all from us today. Thank you very much for joining us. If you want, you can follow us on Twitter. You can follow me at PhilMyChambers, and you can follow Andrew
at Cultured Left Peg.
And you can follow all of us here at WhatCulture WWE. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and comment down below what you think of all of today's stories. But most importantly, go and have yourselves a bloody good day. Goodbye.